Nothing
the
right
ghost. Yeah.
Now we are gonna close up with, dude. I was a big fan of Pacific Rim.
Yes.
Who else in here got to see Pacific Rim?
The first one,
The
yes,
first
was
one, yeah.
great.
Mm-hmm.
Guillermo del Toro, one of his movies I actually liked.
Oh.
One of three. One of three of his movies I liked.
It's Hellboy.
Hellboy.
The Shape of Water.
I didn't like The Shape of Water.
Didn't like The Shape of
What?
Water.
Oscar winner?
Not
Yeah.
seen it.
No.
Come on, man.
Pan's Labyrinth. I
Like-
like.
What about the castle one, or the in the mansion with
Crimson
the blood?
Peak.
Yeah, I love
Ah,
that
that
one.
was
You
really
didn't
good.
get
I
it
didn't
was
see
on
that
top,
one,
so
so I can't
IMDb on you right now, right?
All right. Well, I was gonna review Pacific Rim Uprising, but no. Let's talk about Adam's.
Let's
feature
talk
Guillermo
about
del
my
Toro.
issue.
Yeah.
I make one comment, y'all, and jump on me. All right.
Look, Guillermo del Toro is listening to this with a single tear.
He
know what it
is.
is.
And he's the nicest guy too. I feel bad.
Yeah, but I hate your movies, bro.
I don't.
I like 3 of your entire catalog of movies.
Sorry.
I
If
love
you make
how.
him cry, Kojima's gonna come after you.
Right.
I love how we're talking about Pacific Rim that co-starred Charlie Day,
I love
and I
him.
was watching an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where the Pater Coyle was played by Guillermo del Toro, and he's just like this crazy guy in like a white beard, and Tom Dawson, what I'm talking about. He's a crazy guy in a white beard and this big hat, and he's on the stand and trying to get him to take his hat off in court. When he does, there's this crazy bird who just attacks people. Like, what the hell is going on with this show? And it was Guillermo del Toro. The man's got a sense of humor, and that was dope.
Yeah.
Well, once again, working with Charlie Day in a role that's just as crazy,
Mhm.
we have the follow-up to Pacific Rim, one of the biggest robot
Right.
fighting monster movies of the last
Yeah,
few
but
years.
this is not directed by del Toro, right?
This is
This
not,
one is
but Pacific Rim was his
The first one,
brainchild.
yes. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Now, this is a very different movie. For anyone who's not familiar with Pacific Rim, it takes place in our, I guess, near future.
Yep.
Not
Yeah.
too far out.
Yep.
And in this future, mankind has faced several different big like monster battles because a portal to another dimension has opened in the sea, and big creatures are coming out. We don't know why. They just
Keep
find a
showing
target
up, basically,
and
yeah.
attack Japan. And it's not Godzilla or anything. So mankind has built these large robots called Jaegers to fight them and to defend the planet. Well, supposedly in Pacific Rim, we fought them all back. We canceled the apocalypse. Famous
guys.
line by Idris Elba, and Charlie Hunnam got
Idris Elba was in this. That needs to be a point more.
For like 5 minutes,
More
right?
highlighted,
In
yeah.
He was in
everything.
Pacific Rim. He was not in Pacific Rim
Right.
Uprising.
Well, I'm not gonna watch it.
But you
Well,
bring some
I-
prestige when you
I'm
bring
really not gonna
Idris
watch
to a Jaeger fight.
I
too.
figured that
Would you rather-
Because was he like, I'm following my dad's footsteps? So they didn't like show any flashback clips of him or
Did
that?
not show him.
Wow.
Well, the correction. They showed him once. There was a picture of him.
It was like a postcard on like the dash or something like that. Like we do.
Was
Like,
it?
That-
I
that's
can't get the
correct.
rights to get him in his movie,
Was
but
it like
what this
Stan Lee,
picture-
lazy Stan Lee? It was just like, my cameo was this picture.
No,
Exactly.
what Pacific Rim showed us was that mankind has the ability to fight back, to win against these monsters, and then to carry on society. Well, this takes place a few years later, where, as we learned in the first Pacific Rim, Idris Elba had a daughter, an adopted daughter, and what we learned in the second Pacific Rim is he also had a son that they never once mentioned. That he completely ignored. He's probably like ducking child support or whatnot. Who knows what's going on? But he's got a son now who lives in this future world where Jaegers are just like the world's police.
Yeah.
And
it's like
making
RoboCop. But
yeah, and now there's
Corny.
underground business like selling different kaiju parts
Mhm.
and selling different Jaeger scrap
Mhm.
because bootleg Jaegers are like the new hotness in the underground now.
it was
Everyone
like
wants
that,
to have their own big robot.
Yeah, that Sock'em Robot movie with
Real Steel with
Real Steel with Hugh Jackman.
No, very different.
Great
Because
book,
it's
though.
all illegal, and that's one of the main plot points of the story. That's how we're introduced to our actual star, because the movie is starring 2 people, and we're only shown one in the commercials.
Okay.
It's all about young Denzel.
Mhm.
You know what I'm talking about, man? John Boyega. Tell me he doesn't look like Zen. Yeah,
Young Denzel.
John Boyega doing a an okay accent,
He's in.
but he's what's up? You know
Nah.
John Boyega?
I like young Denzel more.
Oh,
I think.
okay. Well,
Actual
okay,
Denzel more.
Well, John Boyega, anyone who actually doesn't know his work, you should. He's been in a
You
lot of
should
big things.
know.
Most famously in the new Star Wars
Attack the
movies
Block.
as Finn.
That's where he came out.
And for those of you that haven't seen Attack the Block, shame on you. It was an awesome movie.
Mm-hmm.
Aliens Land in the Hood.
Yeah.
And they fight the hood.
In London.
London.
Yeah, well, it's still the hood. The hood.
Yes, it is.
All right, but now in Pacific Rim Uprising, we're shown a future world where we've existed with these monsters for a few years,
Mhm.
and the battle took place years ago. So there's like giant kaiju skeletons in cities, areas that have been damaged and now are now riddled with squatters,
Mhm.
and it's a whole new way of life for these people. That was dope. And when we meet John Boyega, he's actually not like the prestigious son of a military hero like we'd all expect.
Because he's abandoned. We didn't even know he existed.
He's abandoned. Yeah, and that leads into how he fits into this picture. I was actually not very impressed. I like that they did a different take than what we would have expected.
Huh.
It would have seemed like, well, he's the young man who he's in the military. He has to try to live up to his father's legacy. He's like, no, I live in the slums. I don't give up. I just got to make it. And I'm squatting in this mansion. I'm selling off parts and making bank. I'm dealing with gangsters. I'm selling this future's version of drugs. I'm like, this is a very different take than what I expected. Okay, I'm in. Let's go. And then this movie really tried to give me a story that sucked because I realized that they've learned a lot from the mistakes of Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
But they also took the thing that they slightly did okay and really tried to crank it up to 10. And that was like the worst thing they could possibly do. Because the story of the first Pacific Rim movie kind of gives you like, okay, this is an interesting tale of this dude's coming up and proving himself. And then we get Idris Elba giving like, inspirational speeches and then kind of falling back. Cool. So how do they approach this one? Well, I'm just going to come right out and say we see all the hardcore battles that we want to see.
Yes.
There's so much more robot versus monster battles and robot versus robot battles and robots saving a city and robot. It's just like they paid attention. We wanted more Jaeger. We wanted more kaiju. And they take a really odd turn with it too, where it's like they don't actually retcon something from the first movie, but they use that as a major plot point as to why things went bad in this picture, which can be done great or can be done horribly. And this one, it was done great, but the horrible result, which is a really weird. Yeah, that's a really hard one to work around because I think they tried to focus so much on the story in this one, which was a mistake. Ultimately, I described this as I came out as if Michael Bay made Spy Kids. Yeah, because this movie is all like big monster fights, big explosions, destruction.
A lot
rampant
of like
destruction.
rising camera mixed with a circular one.
You
Go
gotta
like
have that spin.
Man,
gotta have that spin where all of a
That goes
sudden
around the characters.
Yeah.
Martin Lawrence's head shows up. Like, you're not even in this movie.
You only know
Everything-
colors.
Yeah.
Everything is really stylized.
Girl
Everything
bent
is
over a car for
beautiful.
some reason.
Yes.
There was none of that because they were
Always.
all 12.
Like
Why they
that
always
Michael Bay
bent?
movie would be alright.
Michael Bay movie
Yeah.
would be
Yeah,
alright.
Michael Bay still hasn't drawn the line where he's showing like 11-year-old movies, so
Man.
I'll give him that much. Wait, you're disappointed at that?
No, I'm cringing at that
okay,
movie.
all right. Oh, hey, Adam said it. I'm just following his lead. Apparently that's how he gets down.
I'm glad I have no
That's
clue.
Adam-
what you're all talking
Adam
about.
Willis from Boston, Massachusetts. Okay. But no, that's the
It's
thing.
Medford now,
This
kid.
is a movie that is all about the next generation. It's all about the kids in the military now. They're the young cadets, and this is their story. Co-starring John Boyega, who's the disgraced former Ranger who's now got to come in and train these new cadets. And that means the Jaeger pilots are less trained. They're trained. This is still the military, but they haven't had as much training as the seasoned, the seasoned captains who are just taken out in some classic. I'll say, damn. What was that Bond movie where they just like completely removed MI5 from the equation? MI6. Yeah. Well, anyways, everyone gets completely just blown away, and now it's just up to the young kids to save the day, which was a not that interesting take, but at the very least they tried. I definitely say they tried because when you get the story out of the way, the story was garbage. The story was the worst part of this. I can't even sugarcoat it, man. It's just like we know what we came to see. This is like going into. It's like I went to watch The Matrix and they gave me The English Patient.
Oh, no.
It's like we're focusing on this really long, drawn-out story, and we're gonna focus on how interesting these characters
said what?
are.
I like the English patient.
I
No,
like the
it's-
Matrix. Forget y'all. Go ahead.
Well, no, what I'm
Wearing
getting
the
at,
thimble.
what I'm getting at is no one's going to The Matrix to find out, like, how Neo's
I am.
elementary school experience
I
was.
am.
You are?
I am. I want to know everything. But go
I
ahead,
feel
Pete.
like you watched that movie wrong.
There's a
brother.
fan
I love
fiction
it.
right
Yeah.
there
All right,
being
well-
formed.
It's like you went to the Matrix and you got the Matrix 2.
It's like you went to The
And I'm
Matrix
like-
and your favorite one was Revolutions.
Was it bad? But go ahead.
After all the battles, and the battles are dope. The destruction is just awesome. There's like moves and techniques being employed. That part was cool, and they really like emphasized that. There's a good like 40 minutes of this movie that's like solid battle. They knew that's what we wanted to see. The problem is it's about an hour and a half movie. That 40 minutes is supplemented by another like 50 minutes of just like the most ridiculous and pointless story you could possibly cram into this, and it looked like something that would have been on Nickelodeon if it didn't have like some death and cussing every
Some
few
sci-fi
minutes.
channel stuff.
No. Budget was there.
All right.
The budget was there.
Showtime.
The acting was there. It's just the script that wasn't there.
What about Showtime? Like Showtime worthy?
They need at least one more butt cheek for that.
Do you think if they put neon wall interspersed between the fighting, it'd be any better?
I don't know, because I thought Neon Wall looked amazing, but apparently the gameplay was garbage.
Well, from hearing from this has got the budget, so it looks good. But
So at least it looked good.
It looked
yeah.
great.
The bones are bad.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
I'm
what,
kind of harping on the points. What I'll get at is this is not the movie if you want to see the continuation of the inspiration and progression of man and how things got better after Pacific Rim. This isn't about the glory of Idris Elba's son, Pendergrass, like building up a new legacy. This is just a story of some dumb kids getting in big robots, and then they fight it out for like a
This
solid half
follows like a
hour.
long line of sequels made
Yes,
with not the
I
original
agree.
director that are like, it's already suspect when you see that. If the original guys aren't coming back, you're like,
Yep.
this is a cash grab. Something was popular. Let's not do
Hold
that.
on.
There's been so many
Aliens?
cases.
Aliens?
Yeah, there's maybe one or
there's-
two exceptions, but I'm
Alright.
saying the
I'm like, in
majority, like
recent
Jaws
years-
2 was garbage, right?
I'll say in recent years, I agree with you in recent years. I mean, we could debate all day about previous years, but definitely recent years, it's been that. It's been cash grabs all the way over. Like you said, original directors are signing on. You may even see the original cast like, because I'm wondering if Boyega jumped on this because he's still trying to ride on the heat or ride on the wave of Star Wars. So his name's just constantly going. So I mean, I ain't mad at
didn't
him.
sell
Of
Star
course,
Wars,
wouldn't you?
so-
I do the same
So
thing.
I'm like,
I'm
He
like,
didn't sell.
I don't
He
think
didn't
he
sell
needs
Star
to
Wars,
jump
but
on
his name is
this.
still
I think-
there.
I think they came to him, right?
They
He's the
probably
big
did
name.
it. He's probably like, you know what? Let's roll with it. Let me keep my name floating.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
the next movie he got can add more money, keep that profile
I
up
just hope
to the
he
next
doesn't
Star
Hayden
Wars drop.
Christensen out this piece. You know what I mean?
well, no, the
like seriously, like
Well-
you could run that risk. You could do like a
Over-
movie or something like that.
no.
and be done.
Dig this. The other main co-star ranger in this picture is someone I really can't hate on, even though I probably have every right to. Is oh come on, I just had his name. He's a Clint Eastwood, Scott Eastwood.
Scott Eastwood, yeah.
Scott Eastwood, who is an actor, a legacy actor, who has not lived up to his father's
How is that
reputation.
possible to live up
And-
to that, and not even the namesake, but another human being? Period. Can
Well,
live
he's
up to that.
Michael
tried,
Douglas
and that's
is
the
alright.
thing. His most famous role to date, at least from my point of view,
Was it
is
Fast and
that
Furious?
guy that was behind the Suicide Squad gang throughout the whole movie and no one remembers.
Yes!
Because
That guy,
he was in
yeah.
Suicide Squad, yeah. And
He was in the,
he
and
was
he was
like
in the
Officer
Fast and
Number
Furious
3.
movie.
yeah, he led a military squadron. What's his name? I don't know.
Officer number 3 was his
Yeah,
name.
and he is Clint Eastwood's son. He is the number 2 ranger in this picture. And you know what? You don't hate him. He's supposed to be like the jerk who comes in. He's like got a pop collar. You'll never be anything, Pendergrass. You're not like your father. And you move on. But no, he's not that guy. He's a guy who he does have beef, but he acknowledges, well, this is military. This is war. This is my brother in arms. Yeah, he's not a great guy, but you know what I'm saying? I got to have his back just like I need him to have mine. And that comes through, which I do respect. But I'll tell you one thing, Jay, that yawn is correct. That is the correct reaction. Because at the end of the day, when it's not on the monster fights, this movie was a snooze, and I blame the script. I hate to be really hard on it, because believe it or not, after all that, I actually give it a thumbs up.
What?
Yes, I give it a thumbs
What a
up
twist.
because at the end of the day, I didn't go into this looking for the story. You know, I went into this looking for the monster battles. And that
You're
is
trying to tell me there's 50 minutes of dialogue. You're willing to give up 50 minutes of your life for this dialogue for those 40 minutes of just action.
yes.
Like, and you're willing to sacrifice that.
I have
Yes,
a
there's
game
a-
that you would love to play. It's called Neon Ball.
Because
You
it
get to
looks
play around
great.
with some balls.
There's a lesson here somewhere.
There really is.
No, dig this, because it's Pacific Rim, and the only thing we really wanted to see was some solid battles. And every battle in the first Pacific Rim took place at night. You're like, I know some dope stuff is happening, but I can only see about like 20% of it. And I want to see like moves, I want to see techniques, I want to see that sword again, I want to see him do some badass stuff. And that's where all the effort in this picture went, to showing us the most badass fights they could. They're fighting on different terrains, and they're practicing different methods. The only fight that was bad it wasn't even the entire fight, it was just like the last big desperation move, which I thought was, are you serious? That's some bull. But the fact that that's a 1 minute scene versus another 39 minutes of like actually really dope fighting, robot battles, all well lit in daytime. They made a point of making sure you could actually see everything that happened.
There wasn't crazy amounts of rain and storm
No,
everywhere.
there was none of that. Everything was like on like bright sunny days. They made sure the weather was right.
There we go.
Above every animator's desk was Michael Bay, and they just had a big line through it. Like, not today, Michael Bay.
So that's the only thing that saved this, and even that is a very thin margin. But it did earn the thumbs up because I wasn't going in this for like a deep story or like solid acting. And I talked mess about the story, but John Boyega is trying. You know, he's
I mean, how much money
trying.
he's getting paid to try.
That's
Yeah,
so sad.
you know, he's trying and he's a good actor. Scott Eastwood, this isn't gonna be the one that's gonna
Not the one? Yeah.
that's gonna make him
This is
recognizable.
Pale Rider, huh? No. All right.
This is not
Jesus.
Scott. This is not Scott
So
Eastwood.
do you think he's gonna get bumped up to sidekick this time? He's gonna get bumped back down to like guard number
No,
4.
no.
In
There,
the Raid remake, you know.
no, there is a sidekick and a young girl who's technically the real star of this, even though they gave her nothing to work with. I had her name up here, but I lost the page real quick. So I'm gonna see if I can bring it up real quick because John Boyega is the main star. They brought back Jing Chan. She is the mechanic. She has a big scene in this, and you're like, wait, who's that? Yeah, so it's just like
She didn't have any
Charlie.
exposition.
Yeah, Charlie Day comes back, and doggone it, Kaylee Speen, who is I guess a relative newcomer to this type of series.
Okay.
And they tried to make her like the new hotness, but honestly, it's just the script is inconsequential.
Hey man, we
They
got
had
Pacific
the
Rim
nerve.
3 we gotta worry about, man. Gotta worry about episode 3.
Exactly, they had
This
the
is a setup
audacity.
for everything later on. That's gonna be
But
way
that
better.
was ridiculous because after all this, they're like, okay, so it's finally over. Nope.
Nope.
And it's done in just a stupid way.
Did the hand come out the water?
No.
Oh my god!
No. It's like the movie ends. They start the credits. Then in the most like tacked on post credit scene.
This is post credit.
It's like the credits start playing and then it's almost like, oh wait. John Boyega like runs it off screen. Oh, I almost forgot. Oh my god. It's part 3. And he says a line.
That's hilarious.
He says a line like, so it's like, oh sorry, I was in the bathroom. Was the movie still going? Okay, I gotta say this thing. And it's just like it seemed like an afterthought, but they definitely alluded to a part 3 and tried to make it a badass scene. But I'm like, look, I just came here for some robot fighting. You all are like pushing it as it is, but it's Pacific Rim Uprising. Believe it or not, I give it a thumbs up, specifically for the robot battles. This is like every
I can't
episode
trust
of
anything that
every
happens
episode
anymore
of the
here.
Power Rangers you watch. It's like if Power Rangers, the TV show, had an Avengers budget.
Yeah, it's
That
called
would
a
be-
bad movie.
They made a Power Rangers movie with a budget.
Yeah.
It didn't have
I
it
legit
didn't have an
cried
Avengers budget, did
during
it?
Power Rangers.
Right.
Yeah,
They
when the
nothing
Blue Ranger
happened.
got
Oh no! When they had what the opening scene was in Power Rangers, the TV show,
Yeah.
but in all of its CG budget glory, I was on the plane
Oh yeah, I saw that.
crying next to a guy who was watching War Horse crying. It really put things into perspective.
Okay, yeah, no, that's definitely one to
I
take
did
in.
see that one. That was
It's so
hilarious.
good.
It was good.
It's great.
All right, so see Power Rangers.
See that over there.
Pacific Rim Uprising. Take it with a grain of salt. No, you're gonna see some robot fighting, but that's pretty much like the only selling point. But it is some dope robot on kaiju, robot on the damn city. Because Tokyo is gone. Tokyo, Hong Kong, every city.
Like,
that
who's
they-
moving to the cities after though?
Seriously.
I
Like-
feel it's safe.
No, I love how they're like, well, we evacuated the cities. They tried to pull that whole Avengers thing, but you're seeing bodies fall out of like buildings and skyscrapers. You're seeing things get stepped on, people get stepped on, like giant tracks of helipad land on folks, people flying into the ocean.
Well, when they clean it up, they're like, nothing bad can ever happen again.
Of course
And
not.
they all
of course
move
not.
back in, and
There's
then
one
it's your
like
next
there's
movie.
one like really tough
Fine.
scene that's supposed to be like gut wrenching, where you actually see
Like
someone
Situate.
lose their family by like
The
getting
rent is
stepped
so
on
cheap.
by one of these giant robots, or one of these giant monsters, and instead I just you just laugh. I'm like, oh my god, no, please run to me, I can cat crush, and I'm just there like. So it's Pacific Rim Uprising. Dude, honestly, if you can see a matinee, go with friends. We'll talk a lot of mess about it afterwards. For real, I mean,
Catch that matinee.
keep it in perspective.
Wait till it
That's
comes
what
on
it is.
Netflix while you're making a sandwich.
All right, so this has been the Geek Down here on WEMF Radio. I want to thank you all for joining us, and I want to remind you also, if you heard anything